Hey everyone, it's Debbie Ann. I'm back. I took a break over the Christmas holidays and I'm well rested now and ready to get started on some new projects. Lots of ideas. First, what I want to do is destash a bunch of my old junk journals that I've made over the years. I've been going back through them and writing down the dates for when I made them so that I can just track my own progress as I was learning how to make junk journals and stuff. I'm ready to give these up, so they're going to be listed. I'm going to flip through them again, even though some of these have already been featured on my channel over the years. So this one was made in early 2015, and it was one of my earlier trial journals with the stitches hidden in the spine. So this was one of my first hidden spine journals. And I had used a 6x9 hardcover that had the black cover, the cloth on it, and I had added some black ink. And this is a book cloth spine that I built on top of the regular spine. And then here I had made this little cluster of paper flowers, and these are actual clock parts, and they were originally kind of like one was here and one was there. I will link the original video at the end of this. But one of them kept moving just because of the way I was storing it on the shelf and such. So I ended up gluing them back on this way. Some corners here in the silver color. And this one was really inspired by Shannon Green and the way she was using magazines and junk mail in her journals at the time. She had made the one, I think, that I remember watching, and it was just a lot of the junky stuff, and I loved how it had come together. So that was really like the influence behind this one. And I had used a lot of red and black in here. The way I was always making junk journals at the time was to make lists. So I tried to have a space on each page that would have like a small area at least for putting things down, like small lists. And then I did use some printouts of Mabel's diary that I was testing on my printer at the time, so you'll see some of those in here. So on things that had images, I added areas for writing. Here's one of the printables, and I added a small piece of graph paper there. An index card that's sideways, so I could write this way, or you could turn it and write that way. This is a sleeve from a book, and there was a lot of stitching going on in here, just like little bits of stitching throughout. I really like texture and staples. I've always done that in my books. So flyers and envelopes, just household office paper type things I had around. These receipts, menu from a restaurant, again from Mabel's diary. This is a page from an art sketch book. So this is what I would call a really, truly junky journal. My favorite kind to make, where you do combine some of the newer things you might like, but you also try and recycle things that are already made and just sitting around. used some red embroidery thread for this one. Again, lots of stitching. I remember just the pure joy I felt making this one. It was really fun to combine these colors together. They are my favorites. And just the ideas, you know, of just getting creative with things that you wouldn't normally play with, such as these dust covers on books and invoices and maps. Just a lot of fun to make. But once it serves that purpose for me, I just don't really feel the need anymore to keep it. And so these are not like perfect. As I was saying, they are kind of like my beginner type journals is what I consider them to be, because it was early days. 2014, 2015 were my early days of making junk journals. So these are like a little bit flawed. You can see how my initial use of paper inside the hidden spine kind of wants to pull away a little bit over here where the holes are in the paper. But structurally, it's still really sound. I mean, this would be a journal that you could use. It's just you can notice a few little things if you're like a seasoned bookbinder or journal maker. But nothing that, you know, isn't like overly distracting or anything. So this one is available for purchase in my Etsy store. These two I am listing together. So this one is completely blank and this one has a lot of sort of embellishing in it. And it's from, I want to say the 50s, but I don't know that I have the book block intact anywhere because I did end up using a lot of these pages. And I think this is in Russian. Yeah, just beautiful colors, really well worn. And then on the edge, this little cardstock trim was done. I made this, like I designed it in Photoshop, and then I created the file to go onto my Cameo. So my Cameo cut these, and then I doubled them, and then I Mod Podged them. So they're quite sturdy. But over time, if you use this journal, this will get kind of tattered looking, but it will go well with the cover anyway. Just a little bit of lace here. The spine again is hidden inside here where the stitching isn't visible on the outside because this was just too pretty to cover up with stitches. I just added a double bow here with some red and white seam binding. This was a book for young ladies at the time to learn how to do all the domestic tasks such as planting a garden, cooking, sewing, embroidery, just a general sort of domestic type book. In this one, not too many criticisms, but I see some bubbling, like I didn't glue down the paper completely. And so it kind of lifts here. But that could easily be covered up with an envelope or a pocket, or even some lace along the edge there. I think the same's going on the back here. I didn't stick it down all the way to the spine. No big deal. And then some of the pattern paper in here is kind of retro looking. I used junk mail and another dust cover from a book, a paper bag, some flyers that I had received. So this one has a lot of blank space, so if you're a journaler, you'd have lots of space. This is one of the original pages from the book. Little paper bag here from the Cavallini company. And these were quite flimsy, brittle pages, so I reinforced where they were folded with masking tape. It's quite a huge book. So, as you can see. This envelope here, I just cut the flap into two parts so that it would, that you could close it if you wanted. Greeting card in here. I think I was gave this to my daughter at one point, and then she gave it back. She didn't want to throw it out, so she told me I could use it in one of my journals. I just thought it was a really cute image on it. So even here you can do some writing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 signatures in this one. This one could go far, and it's not like overly thick yet, so you still have a lot of space to embellish it before it gets thicker. This one here is smaller. It's fully embellished, and I used my cinch binding machine. So there's a layer here of book cloth and then some lace peeking out of the book cloth. I did that just to make the holes work out better in the machine, because sometimes you try to put holes in these older books and it really just it just makes a mess. So that worked out better for this cover. And I don't know if you can see, there's a little bit of shine. I had sprayed this, I believe, with a spray? It was 2015, like early 2015. So I did end up embellishing this one quite a bit. So I spent some time doing that. This is the original spine of the book, so I wanted to keep it with the cover. Lots of junk and pattern paper. So this is one of those city transit maps, and I turned it into a pocket. And then each page that has pattern on it, I made sure it had an area for list making. A lot of stitching, and I had a bunch of these plastic colorful paper clips, so they really went well with this playful kind of looking journal. A lot of journaling cards from paper packs. Little envelope here. Greeting card. And what I did with the pattern papers is these are like single-sided, just like the paper thickness. So I doubled them. I folded them so they're double-sided. And then some of these papers kind of just fold over to the other side. Envelope. Uno. And I remember having a lot of fun making this one as well. Just going along and adding, kind of matching things throughout. So this is a set of 2, and this one here is a separate listing. And what I'll do is I have several more to show you guys. I'll have separate videos, maybe do 2 or 3 journals per video. Do you have any questions? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye!